Hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Pamela here with Passionate About Scrapbooking, your Stamping Up demonstrator in the Texas Hill Country in Fredericksburg, Texas. Welcome to Feel Good Friday live with Pamela, where I'll be creating two fun fold cards for you today using items from our Scrap and Create kit. So we've got an awesome kit of designer series paper, cardstock, embellishments, and ribbon and jute. And we still have tons left over from our kit after we create all of this. So that's super exciting. And here's a little bit more too. We might pull in some scraps. So be sure to say hello if you're joining me. Let me know where you're viewing from and that you can hear me and see me well. All right. So let me look at my notes real quick. So in the description, I shared a little bit about what we're going to do today. We are focusing this week on the 23-25 InColor collection that will be retiring. So we have ink pads, paper, jute. I think my embellishments are hiding back in here somewhere. There they are. So we'll be using some or a little bit of all of this. I also have in here some of our new mini tag punches. So we'll create some little tags on our cards today. Good morning, Jamie and Wanda. So from Utah and California. Thanks for joining me today. And then I wanted to remind you, last night, my Restoring Joy Through Creativity YouTube series, episode number 2, went live at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that's up on my YouTube channel. I think maybe my photos of the project that I shared went live if the scheduling worked out properly, went live on my Instagram and my Facebook page. So you can check those out. I have an upcoming class next Thursday, April 10th at 7 p.m. Central Time. It will be live on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll be creating the Storybook Live Scrapbooking Workshop kit. So if you have that kit already, join me and we can craft along together. I'll show you how to cut your paper and put the pages together. So, and if you don't have the kit, there's still time to order it. Hopefully, it would be here by next Thursday, depending on where you are in the country. But there's a link in the description, so you can order that through me if you like. And then my Botanical Textures Scrap and Create kit. Here is the kit without the embellishments in it, but you will be receiving some of the embellishments that we're using today. You'll get in this kit when you purchase $50 or more through my Stamping Up website, or you can purchase the kit for $26 as is or $32 pre-cut for you. There is a link in the description for all the information on that. But these are the beautiful papers, the botanical textures that we've been using this week. So it's basic black and white with some shades of gray, I suppose. But the color scheme it says is just basic white or basic black. So beautiful foliage, leaves, and then it's got some really cool textures on the back. Excuse me. So kind of like some smushing technique we might do. There's some swirls, paints. Maybe that's kind of like a wood grain, another type of wood grain looking paper, and then some more kind of watercolor ink splatter paper. So we've used a little bit, not every pattern throughout the week, but you'll have quite a bit left over to play with. And you'll also receive some basic black cardstock along with some basic white cardstock. You'll get 6 by 12 sheets of the InColors that are retiring. So you'll have a sampling of each one of those as well. And you'll have your 12 by 12 white willow cardstock that you'll need for our scrapbook pages that we created earlier in the week. Let me share those so you can see what we've already done for the week. So I'll create a PDF of all the projects, and then you'll have these videos from Monday, Wednesday, Friday to refer back to. You'll get cutting measurements for everything for the projects, along with a supply list, and then you'll have your video tutorial to follow along with. So this was Monday's 12 by 12 scrapbook layout that we created. Did a fun border here with stamping, which we might do a little bit of that as well today on one of our cards, if I can remember to do that. And then we also have a single 12 by 12 scrapbook page that we created on Wednesday, a bowl of memories, kind of a Japanese ramen theme, and even used a flip flap in there. Created a little fan texture back here with the corrugated embossing folder. And I did use that in corrugated embossing folder right there behind the photo mats or the photos as the photo mats. All right, there we go. So if you have any questions about any of that, don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. All right, so let's get busy. I think that's it on my notes. So let me get that out of the way. I don't need that. And let's create our cards today. So I have two fun fold cards. I love when I moved from close to my heart or close to my heart closed and I joined Stamping Up, I fell in love with all the fun folds that all the demonstrators were making. So I made my Feel Good Friday focus fun fold cards. So I can still make cards and have fun. So we'll be doing a somewhat simple fun fold card and then a more intense, I don't know if it's intense, but a little more advanced fun fold card. And both of these ideas I got from the Paper Pumpkin Creatives design team PDF for the March kit using the Daisy Daydream kit. So this very last kit, the first one was created by Elaine Shader. I hope I said her name right. And then the second one is by Elizabeth Price. And of course, they're using the Daisy Daydream kit. So this one right here. Now you still can get refills for that, but you won't have the stamp sets. But this kit was so awesome. So of course I can't show you the actual projects that they created, but I'm going to show you the fun folds that they shared. So this is going to be fun. And again, we're using the 2325 InColors. So we'll put that one aside and we'll start with this beautiful boho blue. That's probably my favorite out of this collection of InColors. That nudie mauve is pretty too. And then you've got some kind of neutrals. The boho blue Moody Mauve and Wild Wheat look really pretty together. And then this Pebbled Path will work with any of it, but goes well with that copper clay as well. And even like this is a pretty color combo right here. A little different and unusual, but that's kind of what we're going to go for this. We're going to do um, use all the colors today. All right, so I've got the jute. This is the jute trim is what they call it. So it comes in each one of the colors. And we also have from the Botanical Texture Suite, the white ribbon. That's just what they call it, white ribbon, but it's kind of a woven type of ribbon. Goes really well with this suite of products. The textured notes is what we're using this week, and it has some really neat dies, these frames and labels in here. So a few of them work well with the sentiments, and then some are just great for texture on your cardstock. Good morning, Flo. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for joining me today. And my goal is to use these two stamps in today's cards because we've used almost everything else. I know I'll use the thank you on one and then a little note of appreciation as well. And of course, we'll use those leaves right there too. All right, let's move some things around and get busy. I'm going to try to incorporate the Mini Corrugated 3D embossing folder too. So we've got to pull out our machine here in a minute and do that. I'll put all my goodies over here to the side. So this is a standard size card. Super fun fold card. I've probably shown before, but I needed a simple one because the second card's going to be a little bit more involved. So let's take this 5.5 by 8.5 piece of boho blue, and I just realized, y'all, that I have a whole 8.5 by 11 package of this. Not sure why I got it, other than I love the color. So I'll be using it even after it retires, I'm sure. So let's see. So with your Scrap and Create kit, I'm going to throw in a little bit of extra boho blue cardstock since I have so much of it too. All right, we're going to score at 4.25. That's going to be our first. So that'll create our standard size card right here. And then we're just going to bump it back and score it at 1.25. I could have done 1.25 and then 4.25. And I think that's all we need for that. All right, and I may have to score it again because before I fold it all up, you can see those score lines. There we go, probably better that way. I want to see if I can emboss this. And to do that, also, I'm going to grab my water mist sprayer. And the reason I'm doing that is because on Wednesday, when I did the basic white cardstock, it tore up the paper. So I don't want it to tear it up. So I'm going to spritz this side of the cardstock a little bit. Let's look at the embossing folder real quick and make sure we can make this happen like I want it to. So I think I'm just going to put it in here like this. So the front, the piece that's scored, so we've got, there's the center, and then this is scored over here. So we can put it in like this right to the score line and score the front. But I want to try not to let it tear the cardstock. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm just going to spritz this with a little bit of water, front and back, just barely, and hope this works because I haven't tested it. I do have a couple of water splatters in there, but that's okay. They should dry. And line it up right there on the score line where you fold it in half. I've got my, no, I don't have it yet. I've got my base for plate number 1 and plate number 4. I want to make sure that's straight too. I think it is. And then we're going to sandwich that in between those 2 plates. All right, let's see if this works. And I guess technically I can go all the way through. So this is a 3D embossing folder, and it worked, y'all. Yeah, so spritz your paper. That'll dry, so I'm not too worried about that. And I probably will need to score it one more time so that I can see that score line. Let's see what happens here. So I just need to score it at the 1 1/4. It's right on a score line, actually, but let's see. That'll help me see it. Yeah, I think so. If you look real close, you can see that score. Okay, so that's where I'm gonna fold it back gently as best as you can. Just want it straight. There we go. And then I'm gonna gently, so it kind of stays down like that. And then you can fold on your other score line or as close to it right there. Maybe do it this way. Trying to get on the right score line, hopefully. All right, let's see if it's all kind of straight. I think it is. And I'm going to go back here and run my bone folder this way. All right, so we have some texture now on our card. Good morning, Lori, and hey, Debbie from Florida. Okay, so we've got 2 options, but I think I'm going to go with this one right here. And when I do my scrapbooking, I'm usually using my tape runner, but for cards, especially for this corrugated, I'm going to use my green glue so it'll grab onto there. And you're just going to, I'll give you a measurement here in 1 second. So this piece was 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. So it'll just hide right back behind there like that. And then this piece is going to go in here, but I was thinking I might like to stamp a little bit of this, since this stamp mimics this one. I was thinking of stamping I think in black. Don't know that I want the pebbled path because it doesn't quite coordinate with that black and white. So let's see if I can find my black ink pad. There it is. So I'm going to hold off on that for just a second before I decide. Now I did cut with I die cut this one out. I think it was this one. How pretty that is. I love these dies. So even if you don't care for the stamp set, you can totally get the dies. And then we've got a piece here that I cut down to fit inside of there. So it's like a little frame. And this is just going to go on top here. So I was trying to decide, let me find my scraps here. I did pre-cut some of this stuff. I didn't know if I wanted to use it on here or not. So I've got a couple of pieces. I might throw this one over here. Don't know if I'll add that over there or not. Okay. And maybe I can do little bit of clustering with some of these. Maybe I might do a darker one, or I might could just do all of those right on top of here and get all those colors in there. Maybe that's just what we'll do. And then I may not do anything on this side. All right. Just looking at my other card, see what technique I want to do. So we've got thank you. So we might keep this one like super simple. I do want that. Give me a moment because I'm okay. I'm trying to think about my stamps that I know I'm going to use this one on the next card. This, I'm not sure. This is just more of a background. We're going to play with it for a second before I commit to it. I've got somewhere, there's my desk pad that I've been playing with. If I do, I got to find a place to put I can push this up a little bit and I can put my stamp, my thank you down here, or I can go down here and put it up here. Or I can do something and I could even cut it out maybe and put it right there with some trim and stuff around it. And then maybe this could be in the background. I wonder if it should be in black. So you can kind of see I was playing around with that stamp earlier. Ooh, I kind of like that. That's pretty. If we just put it down here at the bottom, it would make it almost look like it was in a basket. All right, so I think we're going to do that. And I may just stamp this out and fussy cut around it. I'm not sure if we have a label that's going to work well with it, so we'll see here in a second. All right, so I'm going to stamp it off and put it right down about there. How pretty that is. I love that. Look at that texture in it. Okay, so just kind of a background stamp, I guess is what that was intended to be. And so I could almost make it look like yeah, all of these are kind of floating out of here. I think that will work. And we'll bring in some of our ribbon, maybe all the colors of the ribbon. I'm not going to, I'm going to use these because I'm not going to stamp and fussy cut for you. I wanted to use these. These are from Monday's project where I stamped off and then I didn't use them. So let's put these, we're just going to glue these right down. We'll pop this one up, I think. So we can just let me move this out of the way so you can see everything a little bit better. So I'm going to put this one down first and not too far down. And I am going to let it go over the side just a little bit there. And then this one already has the glue and it can go. I'm going to meet them all in the middle. And then I'm wondering if maybe I need to stamp that one out in the full strength. Let me see what scraps I have of the white, or just find some scraps. There we go. And then I can visit with you just for a second. So has anybody got any big plans for the weekend? Is everybody staying safe with the weather? So I think we're going to miss out on most of it, it looks like. where we're at in Fredericksburg, but some of the other rest of the state, especially up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is supposed to get kind of nasty. Yeah, I think I might need this darker piece. So let's see. There's no dies that go with these stamps, so you do have to fussy cut them out if you want to do something like this. But it's not terribly difficult to get it cut out. And see how I fussy cut? I leave the white around it, and I'm mostly turning my cardstock with my left hand. It just makes it go a little faster, and it's a little bit easier on your right hand. I'll find sometimes I get a little tense and my hand starts to hurt, so I have to remind myself to relax. So Lori says they're going antique shopping. That's awesome. That'd be fun. I like to go and look, but I don't usually shop for antiques. There's some neat places down in Fredericksburg, but also in Comfort. It's about 30 minutes away from here. 20 minutes, really, probably. It's not that far. And it's on the way to San Antonio. They have a really nice little market. Is it Market 8 or 8th Street? 8th Street Market, I think is what they call it. It has a cute little coffee shop inside of it and lots of antiques. So instead of that, I think that gives some nice contrast. So that's just a little too light, that one. All right, move that out of the way. We can pop this one up. Let's see, I've got some along, maybe. Let me see if I can make it fit right there. I may have to cut off just a tiny bit, but just make sure you're using all the pieces, even the borders of your Stampin' Dimensionals. Flo doesn't have any plans this weekend. Yeah, something always pops up, doesn't it? I've got some projects I got to work on. And I think Jeff will probably be working out in the garden. Okay, so I haven't layered it onto there yet, but you'll see how it's going to kind of look. Now let's figure out our sentiment, because I think there's only one that kind of works, and it's going to cover up way too much. So I'm thinking I am just going to do it in black and just cut around it, kind of like what it looks like. Want to give a gentle um, touch on that. And we've got to figure out how to incorporate our ribbons and so forth. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think that's going to be too much if I add that along here, but we'll see. Maybe I'll bring in another designer series paper. All right, and then this one, I'm just going to cut around it. I forget what they call this in the Cricut. Offset? Is that what they call that? We're just gonna freehand it. And I'm gonna do not get super close, staying a little bit further away than I would on an image like that. Trying to keep about the same width all the way around. So then it almost looks like it was die cut. So that wasn't too bad. And I'm really just wanting to do this to cover up that stem right there, like right in here, I think. So we'll put a little bit, I think up on this side, and maybe a smidge. This piece just popped off, so I'm gonna try to use it. Debbie says she loves antique shopping. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't want to, usually I don't want to buy any antiques really, but I do enjoy seeing what's all out there sometimes. We might have to go do that one day, Debbie. And Debbie says she's hopefully scrapbooking some. All right, so I'm going to just stick it right up in there. I'm just kind of squishing it up in there, and I didn't put the ribbon, so we got to figure that out, how we want to incorporate that. I'm not going to adhere that quite yet, so let's see what we got. We can go with any colors in here really, but I'm figuring, well, you know what? I said that we would incorporate all of them because what we did on Monday is we took these three colors and we took it apart. We twisted it this way, and there's three strands in all of this, so you can separate it and and so this is, I think, one of each of these colors. So let's see how, whoops, I dropped one on the floor, and if I leave it, kittens will get a hold of them. And we've also got this, so let me see how we can incorporate it. See how much we have of this. We've got a pretty good amount. I did use them to make a bow, so I might can just do a bow. And FYI, this jute is very hairy, I guess is the word. I was wondering if I could still possibly like do a tag up at the top. So let's see. I could punch a hole or a slit and do some ribbon up here. Maybe have it something similar to what we did on Monday. I'm just looking and deciding if that's what I want to do. Don't know that I want the ribbon up at the top though. I feel like I put all of that up a little too high. The bow will be right up here, and then it'll kind of hang down. Mhm. Or we could just, I'm thinking, you think through this for a minute and see how maybe I want to do this. I think it needs to go under. Could do a bow over here. If I make it go under there, let's see if we can tuck it under there or not. I think I can probably make it work. Not sure. I can't remember how far down I went under the. Can I? This is when you want to be able to. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can see in between there. I think I can. I just don't know if I can get them in there with some tweezers. I think my Stampin' Up! Ones are a little bit big. So I'm going to see if I can. See, I think I got it. Yay! When you're determined. All right, so I think I'm going to go around over here and we can wrap it around. And then tie a bow off right over here. I think that's going to work. I was also just looking to see if I can incorporate this somehow, but I don't think we can. I mean, I might could tie a little piece in there, but we'll worry. I have a better idea on the other one about doing it. So let's do, I have some bigger, since I've got ribbon or jute going on there, I'm going to pop this up and I'm going to wait and tie it until I get it on the card. Okay. Or at least on this piece. All right. I'm going to see if I can maybe twist this up a little bit. It's awfully hairy right there, but I guess that's just how it's going to be. I think I want the bow over here. Just need to make sure that I've got enough. I can move it around because I don't have any adhesive there. So let's put this down on this piece. Okay, all that's secure now. And then on here, we're only going to adhere it to this piece right here. And I think we'll go ahead and use dimensionals on here too. So pretty much right in the center. I'm going to use like 4 to make sure that it stays. Can everybody hear me good? I was noticing on a couple that it was staticky. Have y'all had any static? Heard any static today? And if so, I'm going to have to check on my AirPods and see what's going on with them. All right, so here, let me make sure. I think I have them. Yeah, so that works like that. And now let's just tie this off. See if we can get a bow out of this right here on the edge. I don't know if I can just like stick a piece in here, if it'll look weird or not. Let me see. I may prefer it to go like this. Well, it's not going to go that way, the way I've turned it. I'll trim it off. I'm just thinking I'll put a little piece in there. I'm gonna tie a knot so it's holding it. Yeah, and that'll get all that texture in there. And let me see if I can make a little bow. Not sure. If my tails are long enough, I may have to go this way. And if I can get all those pieces, there we go. Could have used a little bit longer, but we'll work with what we got. We just have a short little tail, so we're going to cut this one off too. And then this, all right, just something a little different. I'll even cut it just a tiny bit shorter, since everything else is short. Okay, that's good. And I maneuver it so that you can actually see the sentiment. I'm not sure how I feel about this card. All right, let's do a couple of, so I think I will just leave it white over here. I think it'll be, so we need to adhere that real quick. It up like that, and adhere the inside so you can write your message in there and add a few, hopefully the embellishments will add a little extra to it. Oh, good. Thank you, Debbie. So I'm not sure. I may just need to clean them. All right. So we've got boho blue and moody mauve. And a little bit of little fuzzies everywhere. For now, let's do one of each, maybe. And I might just stick it right on here and just leave it like that. Pamela, don't overdo it. Got a lot going on. All right, so there's card number one. Trying to get all those elements incorporated. I think it turned out okay. It's a little different. Then you just grab this part and open it up like that. We got lots of texture going on. Okay, so we'll set that aside and let's see what we can come up with card number three. Now this color's a little challenging, this copper clay. I like it. It's also a little bit different. Oh, and I wanted to remind y'all that there are last chance products. It just got updated on April 1st, and I haven't looked to see everything on there, but I'm sure this is on there along with it. It's a beautiful paper packet that has the InColors in it and a pretty, that's not the, let me see, I think I got the name of it in here, called Wildly Flowering. Real pretty colors, real pretty patterns, especially, I thought it was in the front. Yeah, that one right there, I love. I love, 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 love. I was going to look real quick too. Don't know if I still have them, but I do have a few. I have to show you these. I did a few cards a while back with like a one sheet wonder. So using that pattern of paper. So you could do a one sheet wonder and make like, I can't remember, did I make? I may have only made the 4 cards or 6. I don't remember. But all right, so let's get busy with this one. This one's different and fun. The way it flips, it's got a couple of flaps. Okay, so we have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece of basic black. Then I have a piece. This is pretty too, but since I'm doing leaves, I chose the darker, and I wanted to use some of that, um, the back pattern of this designer series paper. So I did cut that with, so you can see along the edge, I used the largest of the frames right here to cut that. And we have to be very strategic on this one, layering pieces together. So I believe I've got to put this piece. This was a 2 3/4 by 7 3/4 piece. And I've already scored it. Let me see what I scored it at. 2 1/8, I think, but I think I changed it. Let's see if I can see it. It's at 1 7/8, and I just chose to do it on this side, and then I flipped, or I scored it, flipped it over, and scored it at 1 7/8. So it's already folded here. Now, you could have scored it a little bit differently so that this meets in the middle, but it's not necessary. And then this is going to go inside here first, and then we're going to lay it on here. So this creates your flaps, and we'll build up on those flaps here in a minute. So first I want to adhere this piece to the black. I'm going to turn it this way, and I can hopefully get it centered. Close it up and then push it over. Oh, that green glue almost didn't let me. Okay, so you just want the same width on either side. I think I got it pretty straight, I hope. Okay, and then this piece now can go inside here. And you're just going to center it. It might be a little bit, since it's a frame that we cut out, there'll be a little more width over here than up here. All right, so this is what we've got going so far. And then we've got to build our pieces, but I think I'm going to have to do some stamping first. Figure out well, not necessarily, but all right, so that fits inside another piece that I cut with one of the frames. I think that must have been this. Okay, this one I did a little trick. Let me show you real quick, because see how it's a different size than this one? So I put it in, I cut my piece of paper first. So it is a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I laid this over top, ran it through my machine, and then this piece didn't get embossed. So then when I went and laid it in again, I flipped it around. I moved it around on here until it was close to you can feel it kind of catch in the design. And once you feel it catch in the design, you can run it through again. Just all I did was run it until it cut that part right there. So it embossed it, I guess, really. I mean, it cut it because it does go all the way through. So don't run this piece all the way through again, just to get that little edge right there. So it ends up being a different size than what the actual die is. Then cut a small piece of white This one ended up being probably a little off. It's a 3 7/8 by 2 7/8, I believe. Okay, and then we're gonna do, there's a lot of sandwiching, I guess, in this one. But this one's got to be lined up in here. It's not going to be glued to this, it's going to be glued to this flap. So just position it. We're going to put a little bit of glue right here. We can't go all the way down, just do it right in there. Okay. So now you've got this flap started. Let's go ahead and do this flap. Same thing, we're going to layer it, we're going to put it down like this first. So I want to line it up with that first one. We're only going to put glue right here. So it's attached there. And then see, here's our flip flaps. You can go either way, probably this way and then this way. Okay. And then these we will decorate and put right here. And then, of course, the other one right there. But I'm not sure I want to add those quite yet. I want to decide how I want to decorate. And then this piece, I have a little surprise for that piece, I think. I need to see if I can find, there we go. Yeah, okay, got it figured out. It'll be a little surprise at the end. Okay, so I've got a couple of pieces already prepped here, and I got to figure out, I did want to use this stamp this time to decorate. Let's clean a little bit. I decided to put both of my AirPods in today to see if that would help. I've been only using one, and I made sure they were charged up good, so let me know if you're having any issues with hearing me. Guess this one, yeah, this will work. All right, I wanted to do pebbled path for this one, I believe. Yeah, because look at how pretty it is in the pebbled path. It looks prettier in person, by the way. So you could do it in any color. There, let me see, give me 1 second, because I think I have another. They made a PDF for this one. Let me show you the PDF for this. So super pretty. These are using some of the other, the ones, well, I don't have the back part, just the front. But see how it's grounding right under here? So that's kind of something I wanted to do right there. And you can also see, look, how they used that other stamp just as a kind of a light stamped off texture behind the thank you. Now that would have been great because it fills up that area on that label since the thank you is kind of small. But I do want to stamp it in like second generation. So I'm going to ink it up. I think, you know what? I'm going to just stamp it full strength. We're just going to do it full. We're going to work on the front one first. I'm going to stamp it kind of off center. Oh, that's so pretty. Look at the detail in that, y'all. That is why they're in the rubber, so they can get that detail. So I want to kind of just position this on here so I can see what it's going to look like. I do have a couple of these already pre-cut. You're welcome. The inside one I may do super simple. So this will be the outside. And I may just do something kind of similar to what we did on the other card. Now, yay or nay? I think nay. Unless maybe I tuck it underneath or something where it's just poking out. That is some of that wild wheat. I don't want to have to fussy cut any more out. Let me know what y'all think about that wild wheat in there. Or should we just go with that? Is something else we could do though, maybe we could do with this. Let me clean this up and put it away. I'm just thinking adding more texture to the background. Maybe I'll just do this like stamp directly on instead of this one. We'll see. Maybe we can use that other one on the next page, but let's do it in the copper clay. Yeah. This collection of products really stretched me creatively this week. And the colors did too a little bit. So I'm thinking I can hide it just like right behind here. Okay. Yeah. It can even come up a little bit higher. I have a label. So I think my label's going to go in here somewhere too to kind of cover up the stem. And this one we're going to do a little note of appreciation. That one I can put away. There we go. And this might be a little tricky. I didn't think about that. Seeing if I could fit it on there properly. Sometimes with the cling stamps, that'll work. With the cling stamps, sometimes you may want to stamp first and then die cut out. That will make it a little bit easier to get it lined up good. I could have done it in black, but I just had copper clay out, so I guess we're going with copper clay. All right, and I was thinking, this is where I was thinking I wanted to kind of make it into a tag. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not going to use it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. And I'm going to just adhere it. I'm not going to do anything. Since it's black, we're gonna do this. I'm just going to ink up the, well, I didn't mean to do that, so I guess we're really inking it up. We're just gonna do the edges, but it goes with it because of the background piece. So maybe yep, I'm just gonna roughen up the other edge a little bit. Okay. So now we're distressing, not intentionally, but okay, that'll work. And I'm gonna glue it right on that outside flap. And I wanted to do the circle punch. I'm just not sure that that is big enough to get some of this through. So we're going to go with this one instead. And we're going to flip it over so we can see it. And we're only going through this one. We're going to go through both layers. So I'm kind of centering it right there. Okay. And I need my white ribbon. So we'll kind of do the same, what we did on Monday, where we go through here. And we get some of the now it's decisions again. I think we'll do the pebbled path because that'll just be too much um, of the copper clay. I haven't used this just like this. I think we'll just leave it big and thick. Tie it off here. All right, I like that. And tie a bow. And we'll trim some off here in a minute once we figure out. I don't like that. I think it's kind of cute. Just chunky. Get the texture. And then this piece needs to be popped up. Again, I think I'll try using just a little bit of this. Forgot that I had the door open, so all right, and then we're going to bring it up a little higher. There we go. Then this piece can go right in here. So I just need, I'm gonna do one big one right here, stamping dimensional. Trying to decide if I need, I don't think I need another one. I think it's good. I'm going to put it just barely past that area right there. Maybe a tiny piece. I don't know if I have. I'll just do a little tiny piece like right there under here, right in the corner. And that will just secure that down. Good. All right. And so that's our front. We'll put a couple of embellishments here in a minute. We can use some of those. Actually, let's just do it now. We can use the pebbled path. Oops, I didn't get it. Okay. And then when you open it up, we have one more. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it and not really even decorate it. Maybe we will just do a little stamped off on the corner. I mean, like right out here. That's all we're going to do on that one because you need a little area to write your sentiment. And then we can layer this one over top of that. And then this one I wanted to put right down in here, but I think it's got to be up a little bit higher. Let me see. You could put a gift card in here, y'all. So we will do just a little bit of glue on 3 sides. You could put a notch up here if you wanted to, but I just decided I'm not doing that. All right, so we've got to position it so that it kind of hides right behind there. Let me, yep, maybe I'm pushing it over just a smidge. So you should be able to get a gift card in here and it's going to hide it. Ta-da! Now, if you wanted to stamp something on there, you could. Like that's not going to, that would fit, but I'm not going to do that. Not gonna do it. I'm just gonna leave it like it is, I think. Now, you could also decorate the insides here if you wanted to. If you wanted to put some more white cardstock or just some pattern paper. Now, I might would have done that before I tied that off right there. Get that out of the way. You could do whatever you wanted to in there, but we're going to leave it just like that. I think Elizabeth did decorate up everything. She was so good. So again, you could totally do more white inside there or designer series paper. But I think I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to take my phone folder and give those little areas right there a little bit of a crease so it somewhat lays flat. And I think I'm going to just leave these the length they are. I don't know. Afraid if I cut it off, maybe cut just a little bit like there. And then this one wants to flap over here. I don't know if I can get it to stay over there. So it just is what it is. All right, so there's our 2 cards today. I'm going to have to do this design again because I really like that. That's a fun one. Where's my other card? There it is. All right, a little more unusual style color cards using the textured notes along with the 23, 25 designer series, well, in colors because we used inks and jute and cardstock and embellishments. We still have a few of those left on there as well. So we could doll that up a little bit more if we wanted to. All right, so thanks for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the fun folds. Voila. Fun fold plus a gift card, y'all. This could be a good masculine card. So think of it that way. A little bit more masculine feel. Okay. Oh, that would be good. Tone on tone stamping. You could totally do that. Yep. Could use one of those and just stamp around the inside there. Great idea, Wanda. All right. I hope you'll have a great Friday. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you learned something new. And if you make any of these fun folds, tag me and let me know. Share a picture somewhere on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to see what you create. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe if you're in the path of any icky storms. I know this has been several days from Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, maybe. Um, and say a prayer for all those in the path of the storm. So God bless you all and have a great weekend. Bye.